Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I made those calls yesterday, which was nice. Moose and I split up the 10 phone calls we needed to make. So, yeah, it was cool. Very emotional. Samisi, he said he couldn't stop shaking. He was at his parents' place up here in Auckland and getting ready to fly back to Dunedin, where his girlfriend is, and then bust in Invercargill. Yeah, so he couldn't stop shaking. So that would have been pretty awesome, getting off the phone and going and telling mum and dad. So yeah, that was really cool. I mean, Ciale was very similar, you know, and Josh. So yeah, I guess they're life-changing phone calls for those men, and yeah, I've caught up with them all this morning, and very excited to be here.
What about someone like Ethan Blackadder, I guess, that's been out of the system for a wee while now, but he's also now back in the camp? What about some of those boys that have been brought back in?
Yeah, I think he's obviously had a lot of injuries over time, but you know, when he played this year, it's really impressive. He's just a massive engine, physical, and so we think he offers a point of difference around that. And yeah, so obviously, you know, we've spoken about Samisi just before, but he's got a genuine point of difference. We haven't got sort of the big, powerful, loose forward like him, and yes, he's really destructive defensively, and he carried Moana on his back a lot this year. So yeah, we think he adds a point of difference as well.
Have you had a discussion with Dupes at all on, you know, why he's missed out this squad?
Yeah, look, I spoke to a handful of guys, so I'm not going to go into those in massive detail, but you know, as you've seen with the guys that we used in the Nations Cup, those boys fronted well for us. Luke, Anton, Peter Larkai, Artie can all play 7. And certainly, you know, Duke's a good player and had a good season. And so there's good players who have missed out, and not just him. So his job is to go away, keep working hard, be ready if an opportunity arises. I'd be surprised if we don't call someone in at some stage.
So how long ago did you have these 44 names in place?
You know, we picked 44 names before we even assembled with the 34. And then those names have changed marginally with the odd injury and that sort of thing. But yeah, we picked it a long time ago.
Just a couple of questions. About the halfbacks, only 3 halfbacks. I think all of us are speculating that means Leroy Carter plays some of the USRC games, or perhaps, I don't know, it's whatever, but does he actually play that role as a reserve halfback?
He may well cover that role. Yeah, if we wanted to go a 6-2 split, having someone who can play 9 and play wing gives us a bit more versatility. Obviously, Noah Hotham's the obvious choice as the 4th halfback, and if we were to get an injury, then we'd bring in a replacement. But Cam's had a lot of footy. We're keen to get a lot more rugby into the other 2 boys, and so they'll share a big chunk of the load in the first 3 weeks.
I hate to ask the question, you're probably sick of it. Is there any chance at all that Richie Mwanga might end up being in Southern?
Oh, there's a chance. He'll play for Canterbury this weekend, and then once he's done that, if we had an injury at 10, then he's an option to come in.
With respect to Samisi, did he catch your eye last year when you were watching Super Rugby, and also talking to Artie about him? I assume you had those sort of conversations.
Yeah. I watched less Super Rugby last year, to be fair, when I was in Japan and not realising I was going to be coaching the All Blacks, but I watched a lot this year. Yeah, look, Artie speaks really highly of him. So yeah, look, it's exciting. It's a really good story, isn't it? That someone who may be playing in a side that's battling can stand out the way he did. So really pleased for him.
Dave, if you look at the profile of the players, particularly the forwards you brought in, and if we include Fabian in that, they're all big lumps of men with physicality and obviously ability to play a certain style of rugby. Clearly that's deliberate. Is this squad particularly the additions chosen very much with an eye to where you're going and who you're going up against?
Yeah, it's a lot to do with who we're going to play over the next 7 weeks, but also with an eye to the future. There's some guys that we want to find out more about and work out whether they're genuine options heading into a World Cup year next year. And so we think having them inside the tent and where we can create change and they've got a chance to impress us will help with that decision making. So there's a fair bit of size coming in.
Was it a difficult decision to leave Artie out for the first leg?
Artie's been training and playing since January 2025. Obviously, he had that season there. He then went away with the All Blacks. He came to Kobe and then straight into the Nations Cup. So we need to find a window where we can freshen him up. This seemed the obvious time. And so, it was a pretty simple decision.
Will the captaincy be shared between others, or have you got someone in mind to lead the first leg?
Yeah, Cody Taylor will be the tour captain. He's obviously now injured as well. He certainly won't play in the first couple of games, Cody, but he's got a huge amount of respect within this group. And the plan was always Cody would have only played one of those 3 games prior to the first test. And so we've got a variety of leaders who we think can do the job on the day. I think a tour captain will deal with a hell of a lot of media and scrutiny while we're over there. It's not just the 80 minutes on game day. So good chance to grow others, but got a really high opinion of Cody. Boys love him and respect him, and I think he'll be valuable for us over there.
Dave, you named Josh Jacob at a time when Bowden's not getting any game time. How do you see both of those fitting in on the score?
Bowden will start against the Stormers. There you go. There's a little leg up. So, I've said it before. Bowden's really impressed me. He's training superbly. His contribution has been excellent, very professional. He's been incredibly supportive of Ruben. And it's tough for him because he's probably trained well enough to get an opportunity, but we just felt that Ruben needed time in the seats, and he's done a really good job there. So Bowden will get his opportunity against the Stormers, and which is exciting. I know he's keen to rip in.
Have you got the rest of the team to face the Stormers?
Yes, we have. We put a lot of time into this. We talked about we picked the 44 a long time ago. It hasn't been a lot of footy between when we picked the 34 and now, and so clearly we had some really strong opinions around that. The way we're travelling, we're due to go through Dubai. Obviously, with what's happened over there, the flights got changed 2 or 3 months ago. We're now on multiple flights, one through Singapore, one through Perth, and one through Hong Kong. And we're going at different stages. So with 30 guys or 30 people travelling on Thursday, we decided to leave 23 at home, and with 7 staff. And so those guys will play the Stormers. And so to pick that side, we had to pick the first test team and then try and work back to make sure we're sharing the load and to come up with a 23 that would stay. So complicated probably, but it allows that group to have one extra training day in preparation, and then they'll arrive in Cape Town on the Friday and got a full week to prepare for the Stormers.
I guess when you picked all those teams and sort of laid out a plan, how flexible is it, especially with that first test team? Is there room for guys to play their way out?
Yeah, even the test team that we picked, because we picked it before the Irish test, and so that may change a little bit, but everyone will play in those first 3 games, which is great. But we're going to share the load.
And You mentioned Cody. Is there anyone else under any sort of cloud or niggles or anything that will rule him out? What do you think?
No, obviously Leroy and Fihi both had injuries that ruled them out previously, but they'll both be available round one or game one.
Ruben's okay?
Ruben's fine, yeah.
David, I was Rico was named as an outside back. Is that to say you see him as a winger?
Yes, but obviously his versatility is handy. Played both positions in Ireland this year, and even Narawa can play 13, 14, 15. So I think having versatility on a tour like this is important.
Tamatama Nawa in the same vein, midfield, winger, maybe even Lisbon.
12, yeah.
Dave, you've named Tupou as a lock and also Damien as a number 10. There's obviously flexibility around that given what we've seen in selections in test.
Yep.
Nice answer.
Dave, we just go back to Arnie for a second, because this tour is obviously a huge moment for New Zealand rugby. They've invested a lot in it. You've got to the point where you're having to leave your captain at home to give him a rest at the biggest time of the year. Is something going wrong in the management? I'm not having criticism of you resting him now, but you have to rest him now. But is there something going wrong here that's having to happen?
No, I think it's a decision that we've made on what we think's best for him. So, Artie would plug on, but I think it comes to a head at some stage, and it's such a big series. Freshening him up prior to those 4 tests is essential, and what we could have done was left him out of the last 3 and try to freshen him up that way. But it was important to us, and it was important to him to play. So we think this is a really good compromise. He could have come on tour, and we might have only played him in one of those games, but we felt just getting his head out of footy and getting him away a little bit. We trust him to do the work and turn up in good nick. He'll arrive 10 days before the first test, so plenty of time, we think.
For some guys who haven't been over there, how much of an eye-opener rugby and off the field is this going to be?
Yeah, massive, I'd say. We've obviously got some guys who've played an enormous amount of footy in South Africa in Super Rugby a few years back, and obviously test matches. But a lot of new guys who will be a bit of a shock, and we know the intention over there, the crowds, the altitude will be a new experience for some guys. So that's pretty exciting, eh?
Do you have a bare minimum of results that you were thinking of for this tour? Of achievement?
Well, probably safer not to comment on it, but look, we want to win, and we want to win each week. We're playing the best team in the world, and so it couldn't come at a better time for us. We've had a month together. I think we've made good shifts. I think we've got an understanding of our DNA and the game we want to play, and we just need to get better. And now we're going to be tested against a phenomenal side on their home pitch. So it's exciting. Yeah, so I'm not particularly looking at numbers and things. We'll focus on it game at a time, and I guarantee these boys will empty out the tank each week.
Dave, how much do you want the guys to soak up? What the guys from '96, and there's a connection with a lot of those guys still to this day. How much do you want your current guys, to sort of soak up their wisdom, as it were, over the next day or so?
Yeah, we've got maybe 15 of them coming in tonight, which is going to be really special. Most of our side weren't born in 1996, so there might be a few introductions happening. But what they achieved back then was phenomenal. Tour's a little different. You got 4 genuine midweek games, and you probably end up with a midweek side and a test team. Ours is different. Everyone will play in those first 3, and then we've got an extra one after the first test. So slightly different, but the learnings are similar. And I had a catch up with John Hart the week of the Irish test. We had a coffee for an hour, and he shared a lot of his learnings, and so that was really valuable for us.
What do you think the big lesson you can take from how they approached their challenge, which was probably similar, maybe not quite as daunting as it is now, but similar level? What do you think the big lesson is, knowing what you know about how they went about it?
Yeah, I mean, like John talked a lot about being one team, and that was a strong thought of ours too. I don't want half a team flying off to the next venue in preparation. We need to all be there. If you're not playing, you're on the field helping warm up, or you're sitting in the stand cheering your mates on. And I think that was essential for us.
What memories stick out for you, Dave, from that 96 tour?
Yeah, I was reflecting on that the other day, because you even look at it, our various management, we were all doing different things in around that time, but just the speed that the All Blacks were able to play at, and they had some pretty quality finishes, and guys like Cully and Goldie and Jonah was on that tour and so on. So I thought, like, how they emptied out the tank for each other. That was a tough series. You're playing the world champions. So yeah, it was a big block of international rugby. I think they played a Tri-Nations prior to going into that, so they were fairly well oiled. But just their ability to work hard and play for each other when it counted made the difference in the end. You could see it by the way that final test finished. So we'll take a lot from that.
Coach, what have you made of the Springboks?
This last question.
What have you made of the Springboks so far?
I mean, they're phenomenal, aren't they? They made so many changes against Scotland, who are an excellent side, and still were able to dominate that game. And so, look, Russie's done an unbelievable job over the last 8 years. He's probably the most innovative coach. He's I think he's incredibly influential too, and they've done a good job around world rugby. And what we know is they'll be very detailed and very planned. They would have watched our series closely, and he's used a lot of players. We know a fair bit about him. There's a lot of those boys playing in Japan. There's a lot of them playing in Europe, and then they've got guys who are playing in that URC. So got amazing depth. That's exciting. It's a good challenge for us, and we'll learn a lot about ourselves over the first 3 weeks leading into that first test.
Dave, sorry, just the last one. Obviously you want to play at pace. Do you hope that you get a chance to do that throughout? And are there any avenues you can sort of alert the match officials to in terms of convenient referees by the opposition?
I mean, we do that every game, I think. Sides will be aware of the tempo that we want to play at, and we're trying to inform the officials of what's important for us and what that looks like. And I think we saw in the Italian test, we're allowed to play when they had guys down on the field, which was pleasing.
We'll wrap it there if that's right. So we've got 3 players waiting to talk to you.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Dave.